world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. The world cries and you rejoice. The world cries and you rejoice. Aloha.
Aloha.
My name is Joy Hosey, and I have the great honor of officiating here today. I've had the honor of officiating at many Korbel Harlem Clan weddings in the past, which has been amazing, but this is one honor that I never, ever anticipated. And I imagine we've all shared, I know I have, a lot of tears in these last few weeks since Bill's passing. And I do like to imagine that Bill is rejoicing in coming home to Source. But you know, our tears are our heart's way of acknowledging that we are being asked to let go of something precious to us. Every tear is an honoring of something that we've cherished, and it's our very humble human way of continuing to stay connected to life, to being able to keep our hearts open to love. I believe that a people who have forgotten how to grieve have forgotten how to be fully alive. So let this be a place for us to honor our tears, yet in our ability to acknowledge our grief today, I know that we can't help but also feel the gratitude and the joy that our hearts feel in remembering the earthly time that we had with the boy, the brother, the son, the father, the dear lifetime friend and community elder known as Bill Korbel. So I invite us all to keep breathing, to keep crying and laughing and connecting as we share and weave together our memories and our thoughts of Bill today. I think it takes a village to honor a life. And in Bill's case, it takes a few villages. The Korbel clan, who are all here represented from Three Oaks, Michigan, who traveled all this way to be here with us, as well as his California kin. You know, the flow of today has been thoughtfully planned out by many of the lovely tribe here, and it's crafted with the hope that everyone gets a chance to honor Bill in your own unique way, with the tables from the back to your opportunity to be able to speak later. So we want you to do that in whatever way suits you best. We have a little bit over an hour of folks lined up right now that are going to come to the stage to pay tribute to Bill. After which we're going to have what I like to refer to as a conscious break, one where we're going to hold the energy and then to refresh ourselves and then come back again to return for a video tribute and some open mic sharing. After that, we'll have a chance to meet and mingle some more. So obviously Aloha is the theme of the day. And as most of you know, there's been some beautiful signs that Carolyn made about Aloha being breath of life. It means both hello and goodbye. And it's really, Aloha is really about a way of living. One that aligns the mind with the heart and that honors all of our relations and invites grace. Bill was definitely an Aloha kind of guy. And there is another Hawaiian phrase that I just want to share with you today that touches my heart. It's Aloha ke Akua, which means simply, God is love. Aloha ke Akua. Aloha ke Akua. I think Bill knows this, and may this day help us also keep remembering that. Blessings, and here we go.
So Anne has a drum that I made, first drum I ever made, and the handle of it has a rock from a little village in Laos called Mung Noi. And it's where Bill and I were 14 years ago today. And I picked up that rock, and it's the handle. And 14 years ago, 3 days ago, is when my mother passed away. And I was not here for her celebration of life, which took place 14 years ago today. So, the weavings, I don't know how they planned that out. They did. I have confidence in that. And so Anne will be playing this drum in honor of Bill's life.
So I'm going to play one beat for every year of Bill's life, and I will call out the number. And so that number represents him at that age.
Thank you, Anne. Let's give ourselves a nice deep breath. Feel the power of the heartbeat.
Bill's heartbeat that lives on in all of us. The scent of the plumeria filling their room on this day to celebrate such a life as his. My name is Gentle Thunder, and I'm honored to be a part of Bill's community, his family, his spirit sister, and honored to be here today to offer some aloha breath through the tree beings, through the flute. I believe that each one of us is here because we have our own unique connection to Bill. And I always felt like it was such an amazing occurrence anytime I ran into Bill, whether I was at the store or at an event, at a gathering together. He always made me feel like he was so excited to see me. And I think you probably had a similar experience with Bill. One of the things that my reflection about Bill and who he was in this community was one of those really quiet, unsung heroes who loved to nourish his people. So much so that for so many years, I believe it was 6 years, every Saturday morning he drove from Shasta to Chico, and he worked with the farmers at the farm market there and worked his magic with those people and loaded up his car full of food and brought it up here to Shasta to offer it through the Grub Club and to this community for 6 years. Wow. It's just one example of who he was as an amazing being. So I could share a bunch of stories about how Bill has touched my life, but what I'd rather do is offer an experience on this day to invite each one of us to drop into our heart connection with Bill. And while I play this first flute, I'd love for us each to send the love that we have for Bill. I believe, and it's my experience, that even though he's no longer the non-physical, he's very much here, and he's very accessible. So as much as we're feeling our loss to his physical form, I'd love for us to just send him all the love we have to send him while I play this. And you can do your own unique version of your connection to Bill. And then I'll play a second flute and I'll tell you a little something about what I'll do with that one. So here's to the love that's in this room, and to all those who couldn't be here, and all those who are here in spirit. Ourselves another nice deep breath and just send it out. So So the piece I just played was reflecting everybody's love in this room. It felt really beautiful to play. And what I'd like to do for this next piece is to open to Bill's spirit and to allow him to play through me the love he has for each one of us. So I don't know what I'll play, but knowing Bill, it'll be beautiful. It'll be filled with love, and there'll likely be some joy and perhaps some humor in it. So allow yourself to really receive what Bill can communicate through me, through the music, through this beautiful flute, through this prayer of the love that Bill still is.
For anyone who knows me, I do not like being up here. So I just want to say aloha and welcome. I want to thank you all for being here and for showering me and Bill and our family with so much love and caring over these last weeks. It's truly been amazing. Bill really loved this community. He loved every community he was a part of. And Bill loved Hawaii. So I just have to take a minute to explain that on our 10th anniversary when we were in Hawaii, I made a promise to him that if he still wanted to move to Hawaii when our kids graduated high school, the last of them, Josh, that I would do it. And then we came to Mount Shasta. And he found his Mauna Kea here, so we stayed. But one of the most important things to Bill was being on time. And he was, what did you say, Dave? Pathologically punctual. tell you the story of our first date. My girlfriend and I had plans to go to a dinner show up in Lake Tahoe at the Sahara, and they usually got out at about 11, and so we made plans to meet Bill and his roommate Jim 5 minutes down the road at Cooter Jones at midnight. And Deb and I went and got the car, which was valeted, and it took a little longer than we thought, and we arrived at Cooter Jones at 12:15. And we looked around, we found Jim right away, and I said, "Where's Bill?" And he said, "He left." And I said, "What do you mean he left?" He said, "Well, you weren't here at midnight." I said, "You're really kidding me?" He left. So I promptly got in a cab and went to his apartment and banged on the door and said, "How dare you do that? Leave me there." And made him get out of bed and get dressed and come with me. And true story, and that was the first of our many challenges around his being pathologically early and my family being pathologically late. So I'm happy to report that after 42 years, he's trained me pretty well, and while I'm not pathologically on time, I'm rarely late. So thank you all for honoring him and starting on time today. Bill was a man of few words and a big heart, as you all know. And I've learned over the past month just how big and how far back that heart reached. He's touched many hearts throughout his whole life. And I got an email from someone who had known Bill 50 years ago in high school. They hadn't been in touch, and Bill never mentioned her to me, but I want to read you the email that she wrote. The subject was, "Your husband, Bill, I will miss him terribly. I just wanted you and your family to know what Bill meant to me. I met him at Three Oaks High School. He was funny and accepting and treated me like a human being. This was especially important to me because I'm black. He was the only student who did not treat me as though I was a freak, a whore, or someone to be ignored. He really loved being on the basketball team, and I loved watching him. I really felt included when he showed me where he'd hidden the new River Valley basketball jerseys. They were shoved inside the base of a locker. I loved him and always will. He was always a source of fun and laughter, and he was the only one who never made me feel marginalized." Her name is Chiquita Poole, and she's the class of 1967, River Valley High School. So they had little high schools all around, and they all converged into one. So in his senior year, he changed high schools. They all became River Valley. Many of you have shared that the last time you saw Bill was the Saturday when we gathered here in Mount Shasta and marched along with many others across the country. And he was proudly carrying his sign, "I stand with the most vulnerable." That's who he always was. It's an important message for these times, and Bill did it with love and kindness, and he inspires me to do the same. A few more quick things to share. Over the years, people have asked, what was the secret to our long relationship? And the quick answer is that it takes a lot of work. But it also takes a lot of commitment, trust, a sense of humor, and having fun together, and we did all of that in spades. We really worked at being honest and open and staying current. That wasn't always easy, and sometimes feelings got hurt, but we tried to be kind and to listen to each other. We tried to resolve things before we went to bed every night, but no matter what, we always ended the day with a goodnight kiss and saying, "I love you." Bill taught me that every day is a fresh start, and he always woke up that way. Sometimes things were unresolved for one of us, and we would talk about it again, but it was a new day, in a new way, and I am so grateful for that gift. That's why I have no regrets. Nothing was left unsaid. I have a lot of sadness for the future plans that won't happen that we were making. But I'm so happy and so grateful that we didn't leave anything unspoken. One of the best things about being with Bill was that he made friends everywhere he went. He smiled and said hello to people no matter where we were in the world. He loved opening the door at the post office every day that he went to the post office. He would come home and tell me how many people he held the door. He really, really loved that. He loved it when we volunteered up in Panther Meadows. He loved greeting all the people who travel here from around the world and making friends. It was really a joy for him, and it was a joy to be with him doing that. He held my heart in my hand for 42 wonder-filled years. He was my soulmate, the love of my life. So I want to invite you, when we have the open mic, to please share your funny, touching, off-color, wonderful stories of Bill that we all have. Bill's family has traveled from Michigan, and I know they would love hearing, and I would love hearing. I think we'd all love hearing those crazy things and wonderful things about him. Mahalo.
Kate, I feel very blessed to be here with you and family for this celebration. Maestro Josh. In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough faith and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For spirit, sweet spirit, is in this very room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all of us. And there's quite enough faith and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For spirit, sweet spirit, is in this very room. And in this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough faith and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, God's Spirit, is in this very room, in this very room, this very room. Can you feel it? Okay, Maestro. A dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life, for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, search high and low, follow every byway, every path you know. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your dream. When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of that storm is a golden sky and a sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your hearts, and you'll never walk alone. A dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life, for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every
in your heart, and you'll never walk alone.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm looking around to see if my press secretary is here. If you're here today, would you please stand up? Thank you, Mr. Spicer. Appreciate it. I'm also looking around to see if Mr. Spicer, please make sure there are no CNN reporters in the room. Is my Breitbart reporter here? Very good. Thank you. Thank you. I want to make it perfectly clear. This is the largest gathering ever in Mount Shasta. Ever. Without a doubt. Ever. The largest gathering ever. This is Saturday afternoon. Live from Mount Shasta. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Bill's brother Chris. I am the older of the twins by 6 minutes. I never let Brother Dave forget that. I'm going to talk about a couple things. The first thing I'm going to talk about is how Bill was such a mentor for me, and probably for Dave and Marge as well. But before you get the wrong idea, I'm not going to get all gushy or anything like this in terms of a mentorship. Because what I remember most about Bill in terms of being a mentor was he taught us what not to do. I'll give you a couple of examples. Bill felt the need one time that his curfew wasn't late enough. And during the day, he had gone outside of his bedroom window and he had taken the screen off the window so that when he went to bed, he could go to bed and then simply open the window and he's gone. But nobody knew. Well, what he didn't know was that the neighbor lady behind us had observed him taking the screen out and figured it out. And had informed the parents, of course, because everybody's child in the neighborhood belonged to everybody else. And the parents were like thick as thieves on everything. So, Dad was out there waiting for him. So I learned real quick, you had to be invisible. You had to be invisible. The other thing that I remember with a great deal of clarity is when we were on our way, or supposedly on our way, to go visit Grandma and Grandpa. Now, you know that as children get older, sometimes those visits to Grandma and Grandpa's weren't necessarily the best. And Bill simply didn't want to go. And he figured that if he disappeared, that they'd give up looking for him and leave him home. So what he did was, he went into the garage, and he climbed up into the rafters, and then he went over into the rafters that were above a bedroom. And what he had forgotten apparently was that that bedroom had like a drop ceiling on it. And he missed one of the rafters, and he went right through the drop ceiling, and was hanging on the rafters with his feet coming through the ceiling. They figured out where he was. The other thing that I want to mention is his propensity to hang nicknames on people. Now, I don't know any of the nicknames for the Mount Shasta people, but I'm going to share with you some of my favorites that I remember, and then I'll share with you the nicknames that he gave to his two brothers and a sister. I remember one high school friend of his who apparently woke up every morning with, like, goop in his eyes. From that point forward, he was known as dried up eyes. The other one that was a lot more recent than that was a family member that will be unnamed. I don't know if this is being taped or what. I don't know. This person had a little issue with dental work. And you know where I'm going? From that day forward, she became known as Snaggletooth. That was Brother Bill. But probably the most endearing were the nicknames that he tagged on his family members. Sister Marge was forever known as Frog Legs. Brother Dave was known as Haymaker. And me, I'm going to attempt to let you hear it from Bill himself.
Hey, calling, Lutz, come here, Lutz.
Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to call you Bill. Aloha, Bill. Sit down. You guys have to use your imagination. Hi, King. I'm Jimmy Limo. I play music up here around the mountainside. And I was honored to have Bill sing Happy Birthday to me. It was last January 24th. I did the last song he ever sang, right? And I was playing my gig at the Treehouse. And he was an amazing character. He, besides doing a unique version of Happy Birthday, I was honored to be playing a song
And watching him and Kate have their last dance together, playing an Elvis tune. And I could tell I was watching them on the dance floor, and I know for sure he did not die of a broken heart. He was very much in love. And I used to play at the Mount Shasta Resort on Tuesdays, and him and Kate would come down, and I'd bring him up on stage, and he'd sing House of the Rising Sun. The most enthusiastic version ever. If you've seen the video's on Facebook. Just amazing. And I know he's would love to come down and sing another song. I've got a song here that I wrote. I'm not used to playing acoustically. Especially for Kate. It's called When I'm Gone. Original tune. I will be the bird in the tree that looks you in the eye and won't stop singing. I will be the star in the sky that sparkles madly and won't stop shining yet. I'll be the soft summer breeze blowing gently on your face and caressing your hair. I'll be the first ray of dawn that awakens the dreamers and lovers everywhere. I'll be the cool, clear water tumbling down from the hills, bringing life to the valley. Bill brought a lot of life to this mountain. I'll be the first flower of spring pushing up through the earth, bringing color to the world. Bill brought a lot of color, man. I'll be the soft fuzzy blanket that's keeping you warm and surrounds you with love. I will not be gone. My spirit lives on in everything and everywhere. I will not be gone. When I'm gone. For Bill.
I'm Bill's sister, Marge. I'm the youngest. I'm not very good about speaking in front of the crowd, but I wrote some things down. And I hope I can get through it. William Douglas Korbel, Sr., known most as Bill Korbel, born April 3rd, 1950, passed January 27, 2017. You were first a son, then a brother, a mischievous one at that, next a husband, then a father, Lastly, a grandpa. Friends to many. You were taken much too early and will be greatly missed. We cannot question God's plan, but know that we will see you again someday. Family and friends, remember you will be in our hearts and our memories. I received many sympathy cards, but one stood out. It had a beautiful horse on it, and it said, "You are not gone, just patiently waiting at the end of the trail, for we will meet again and be together forever and ever." Fly high, big brother. I feel his spirit within myself, and I'm sure all of you here today do too. I have another reading. These aren't my words, but a friend of mine, her husband passed away, and he had written these words many, many years ago. And I asked her if I could read this today, and she said that Raymond would be honored. This was written by Raymond Petke. He was a neighbor where I live in Buchanan, Michigan. As time presses on, the things we love return to another place. We are left with our love of someone that is missing, returned somewhere beyond our reach. We are left with the things that have remained before us. We are left with our thoughts of joy and pain that travel within us. We are left with what came with us, the sky, the seas, the sun, the trees, and the love we still have between you and me. And that was written by a friend of mine, Raymond Petke. I have a lot of memories of Bill. I guess I'm not going to be able to say as funny as my brother Chris was. But I will miss him greatly. I'll miss his phone calls. We talked about every other day. Even if it was a 2-minute call to find out the weather in Michigan, the weather in Mount Shasta, the price of gas in Michigan, the price of gas in Mount Shasta. And sometimes we talk for 2 minutes and hang up. Other times we had a lengthy conversation on the speakerphone with Kate, too. But I will miss him greatly. And I'm sure everyone else will, too. Thank you. We were born before the wind, also younger than the sun, and the bonnie port was won as we sailed into the mystic. That song was the first dance at my wedding with my husband Matt about 7.5 years ago in McLeod. And we picked it because we fell in love with that song one summer when we were commuting and listening to Van Morrison's greatest hits, and it was just kind of our favorite. So we chose it as our first dance song. And a couple months ago I saw my dad, and he was singing it, and he looked at me and he said, "I want that song played at my funeral." And I was like, okay. And my mom said, "No, Bill, that's her wedding song." Too bad. And that was pretty much how it went. We just the thing was, though, after he
said it, every time I'd hear that song, it sounded different to me because I always thought it was a love song. And I had forgotten or not heard all the part about coming home. Hark now, hear the sailors cry. Smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the mystic. And when that foghorn blows, I will be coming home. And after he died, I just kept waking up with that song in my head, and it kept playing on my Spotify shuffle, for real. It kept playing. And it made me think about other music from my wedding, and I had picked this processional song. It's this Iron and Wine song. It has a line in it about eyes wide open, naked as we came, one will spread our ashes round the yard. And I was 28 when I got married, and I thought that was really romantic. Because that's how successful marriages end, is when one spreads the other's ashes. I have to say that looking at my mom, it's not so romantic. It's real. And I thought about how marriages have always sort of been about death, because you stand up in front of everyone and you say, I'm going to love you forever. And we all know that the forever means until one of us is dead. And I thought about what a radical act of love that is to say to someone that you will be there until they die. And the first person that I remember ever crying out of happiness was my dad. When I was 6, I told my parents I wanted to do a ballet for their anniversary, and I put on their wedding song, and I danced around the living room in pink tights and a tiara. And when I was done, and I looked up, and my dad was crying. And I said, Daddy, are you sad? He said, no, I'm just so happy. And it turns out just kind of like love and death, joy and grief are just right there next to each other. My dad left a big hole behind him. It's like a crater. And I'm sure it'll fill with some water and turn into like a really cool lake, but right now it's a big fucking crater. And I'll miss him every single day. When that foghorn blows, I will be coming home. And when that foghorn whistle blows, I want to hear it. I won't have to fear it, 'cause I want to rock your gypsy soul, just like way back in the days of old. And together we will
more. Aloha! I can't see you guys with my glasses on. Okay. That was good, thank you. So, let's get started. A mushroom walks into a bar, and the bartender says, "Hey, you can't drink here." And the mushroom says, "Why not? I'm a fun guy." All right, somebody laughed. That's really good. Good afternoon. My name is Mark Kennedy, and I've asked to say a few words about Bill from his men's group here in Mount Shasta, and as a good friend. Bill is like three brothers to me. He was a brother in our men's group, men supporting men. He was a brother in our pleasures. Bill and I both love food. You know, we loved good hats. But most of all, we loved quality cigars. And Bill was a good brother of mine in laughter. We had a lot of good jokes together. So, brothers, men, new warriors, I'm calling out to you. On the count of three, please give a strong, heartfelt "oh" for Bill. 1, 2, 3. Oh! Thank you. Okay, why couldn't the sesame seed leave the casino? Because he was on a roll. Man, these are going over a lot better than I thought they were. I tried to pick some foodie jokes, you know. Okay, that one's not appropriate. We're gonna skip that one. All right, so I wanted to share a brief poem. It's by William Ward, called "A True Friend." Okay, should have stuck with the jokes. A true friend knows your weakness, but shows you your strengths. Feels your fear, but fortifies your faith. Sees your anxieties, but frees your spirit. And recognizes your disabilities, but emphasizes your possibilities. And that's how I felt about Bill. Okay, what do you call a cheese that isn't yours? Nacho cheese! I know it! Alright, so, as I mentioned earlier, Bill and I love cigars. We actually didn't know each other smoked, so we were told, and we said, hey, let's get together and have a cigar. But I guess we're both kind of obsessive about stuff, you know. As Kate was saying, Bill likes to be on time. Well, I like to create the perfect situation for my cigar. So we would have these conversations about getting together to smoke. And it took a while. And so we're like, okay, well, first we've got to find a place where we can be alone, because nobody wants to be around us when we smoke. And then we've got to find the outdoor situation, because our wives are never going to let us smoke in the house. And then we've got to find enough time to sit and enjoy our cigar. So as it turns out, it took months of planning. But the gods smiled on us, and it all came together one day. I had rented this house out in Lake Shastina and had a deck overlooking the lake. I'm like, okay, now it's gonna happen. And Bill's like, guess what? I found Cuban cigars. And I was like, oh, right, this is gonna happen. And he brings out a box of Cuban cigars. As we lit our cigar, our mood totally changed. We went completely silent. and we just sat there smoking and enjoying each other's company. It was the perfect moment. I never did find out how Bill got those Cuban cigars. But I kind of like to think of it as in Hemingway's story, The Old Man and the Sea. You know, when Bill did something, he would just fully commit. Like when he would do the food drives, leave at 3 in the morning to Chico and come back with all our food. Well, I pictured him down in Key West. He's getting on a fishing boat. And not only is he going over to Cuba that day, but as he goes over, he catches a bluefin tuna, he fillets it, and has sushi on the trip over, and then he lands on a white sandy beach, right? A 4th generation tobacco farmer walks up, just happens to have a box of freshly rolled Cuban cigars. Hearing of Bill's need for the perfect smoke with his buddy back in Mount Shasta, hands him the box. I mean, I'm sure that's how it happened. But that day, Bill taught me something about friendship, and was not to wait to be with the ones we love. As it turns out, that was our only day where we had a cigar together. Mahalo.
A man in the Panama hat. That's how I first saw Bill. I'm De Leon, and we have a theater group here in Mount Shasta, COS Senior Theater, better known as the Siskiyou Senior Players, and there are a number of us here today to honor Bill. And about a little over a year and a half ago, Bill walked into our very first class rehearsal that we had, and here comes this man through the door with a Panama hat and a Hawaiian shirt. And he said, I quote, "Hi, I'm Bill Korbel, and I want to try this acting thing." Well, what I knew was we had a man joining us that was going to be a whole lot of fun. He did not disappoint. We learned quickly, though, he was dedicated to whatever he did. And he was willing to try something new. And at this stage of his life, late in life, we had the honor of being involved in one of the last big adventures that this man tried before he left us. We are so grateful that he joined us and brought his talent, brought his love, his smile, and his wonderful wife, Kate, to join us, because we were known as the family without the baggage. And we do try to act that way. So we had a wonderful time with Bill, and I can tell you, I know Patty Lott, who's with me today, she has a little to say about Bill as well, because she was one of the other actresses who were involved with him. Now, how did you know him?
Well, I really got to know Bill in the theater group when we were all practicing for our spring play. And I heard somebody singing out in the hallway. So I stuck my head out there, right? And it was Bill. And I said, "Oh my God, Bill, you have a wonderful voice." And he goes, "You ought to hear me sing House of the Rising Sun." Right? So anyways, my husband Bob and I were lucky enough to hear him at the resort with Jimmy Limo, and he was right. He was fantastic. And I thought he kind of sounded like Joe Crocker. Anyways, when Bill and I were in class, he would stand behind me when we practiced, and he would pester the heck out of me. And not just me, I know the others out there too. I was really lucky enough to give him a ride home a couple of times. And we would talk about, everything. Food, which you all knew. You probably all know all of this. It was his favorite things. Food, restaurants. We talk about women's issues, politics, which we were simpatico about everything, all of that. And then he told me about him selling his car. And he had decided to sell his car, so he put an ad in on the internet. So who calls him? Some guy that buys for Uber. So Bill meets him over by Ray's, the market. He's got all his paperwork and everything. And he doesn't know this guy's from Uber. And the guy, Bill figures the bank is there, the car thing's there where you can transfer your papers and everything. The guy goes, no, this car is going to Dubai, where it is going to be an Uber in Dubai. And I looked at Bill and I thought, that's perfect. Perfect Bill story. So anyways, plus the other thing I loved about Bill is he wasn't afraid to open himself up and share his personal things with you. He had such a huge heart, and that's what I and everybody in our class connected to. And the last time I saw Bill was at the Women's March. I had earmuffs on and my sign, and I felt someone staring at me, and I looked over, and here's Bill with 2 pink balloons on his head, and his sign. And so we nodded, and we smiled, and we laughed, we gave the thumbs up. And that's how I will always remember my friend Bill. Aloha.
Thank you, Patty. One last thing on my behalf is that on behalf of all the players in our theater group and myself particularly, I don't know where Bill's going to land. He's still out there trying to find a good place. He may make a stop at the House of the Rising Sun, we don't know. He may walk a beach, we don't know. He may be right here. If you feel him, you know he's with us. But I do know one big thing about Bill, which I absolutely loved. He lived life to the fullest. And for that, I'm ever so thankful because it brought him to us. I tip my hat to the man in the Panama hat.
So beautiful to feel the presence and the love in this room, the grounding. So we're going to be taking a break soon. I just want to say a couple of things. It just really strikes me that, the arc of our lives and relationship, it's so easy to put a lot of attention on firsts. Our first kiss, our first I love you, our children's first step, our grandchildren's first steps. Our first breakthroughs with each other, big events, but it's, we don't always get a chance to really appreciate our lasts until they're here. And I'm just so, I, as a woman who loves her man and cherishes every day. It's been such a beautiful thing to witness Kate and coming to visit you a couple days after Bill's passing, and I noticed this beautiful array of lavender tulips. And I was like, oh, those are gorgeous. She goes, yeah, that was the last flowers that he gave me. They were just gorgeous. And then she started telling me about The Last Dance, too, I Can't Help Stop Loving You by Elvis, and the last yoga class they had that week, and the last walk of the dog, and even the last movie. And this is the part I love the best. It's like little things, you know. Our lives are really marked in the little moments in relationship. And one of the chronic places that Bill and Kate had was around Kill and Bait. New nicknames, Kill and Bait. Yeah, Bill and Kate had was around time. And her being perpetually right behind schedule and being pathologically early. And in movies, this would mean he would want to get there before the previews started. She enjoyed previews, but that was a little early for her. Where I just think it's so sweet. The last movie date they had together, they got there barely on time. The movie was just starting. And Bill didn't get upset. Bill didn't rank on her. And in fact, Kate had an opportunity to say, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for being so spacious and not getting upset about this. And I don't know about you guys, but just it touches me, that place of every moment we have an opportunity to show up and shift our old patterns, to show up in kindness, to feel gratitude and appreciate our partner for the way that they are treating us with kindness. And so I'm really taking that from that experience of being with you. And I just, in closing, want to say that, I'll make sure I get this right, it was, you know, the esteemed, highly loved poet Maya Angelou who said, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I think we're really feeling that and feeling Bill. And I know personally I felt so much this wonderful mixture of gratitude and silliness in his presence, and this sense of excitement of like, isn't life just fucking great? Somebody said they always felt excited to see me. And so it's a testament to all of us. And so right now what we're going to do is we're going to complete this part. I imagine you all want to get up, move a little bit. There's a bathroom in the back. We're going to have some drinks. We're calling this a conscious break. So just really want you to hold this and to think about what you might share, because we really do want to hear more from all of you. We're doing some open mic, and there will be a dance too in the second half. So take this time. We will turn the lights, we'll flick the lights for you, come back, and there'll be a video that will be playing. So be aware, 15 minutes, and we'll see you here at 2:34. Aloha.
Frost on the roof, put a fire in the furnace. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna rock it now. Oh yeah. There is a house in New Orleans. They call the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a boy. And God, I know I'm one. Oh, oh yeah, you know I'm one. Yeah. Well, my mother, she was a tailor. She sewed my new blue jeans. My father was a gambling man way down in New Orleans. Yeah, way down in that New Orleans. Again? What? Yes?
Do what again?
I'm going to do a cloth again. A cloth. Wow! Okay. Ready, then go! Wow! Okay, what do you want to do now? Again? Yeah. Log cabin made of earth and wood, and lived a country boy named Johnny B. Good. He never ever learned to read and write so well, but he can play his guitar just like a ring on the bell. Go, 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 Jimmy, go, go, go. 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 Whoa, 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 Johnny B. Good. You're gonna be a leader of a big old band. People gonna come from miles around to hear you play your guitar till the sun goes down. People gonna come, they're gonna come all night. Jimmy be good tonight. Go, 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 go. Go, Jimmy, go, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Yeah, Johnny be good. Yeah, rock on. Today you're gonna be a man, gonna be a leader of a big old band. People gonna come from miles around. They hear you play your guitar till the sun goes down. People gonna come, they're gonna come all night. Johnny be good tonight. Go, 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 go. Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Go, Johnny, go. Go, go, go. Johnny, you gotta go. Yeah. Johnny be good. Out in Louisiana, across to New Orleans, back up in the woods behind the evergreen. This little log cabin made of earth and wood, lived a country boy named Johnny B. Good. He never ever learned to read and write so well. Play that guitar just like a ring of a bell. Go, baby, go! Go, Johnny, go, go, go! Go, yeah, go, go, go! Go, Johnny, go, go, go! Yeah! Bring it on home now!
I had the honor to be Bill's dental hygienist. But I should take my hands out of his mouth so he can talk more. But I loved working on him and having him as my patient in UK, and he specifically asked for his dance, and I hope you enjoyed it.
This is pure love. Want a glow that shows an instant illumination. Olay luminous. meant to be. You're coming back to me. 'Cause this is pure love. 'Cause this is pure love.
Yes, a nice round of applause for Arizu. That was beautiful. That is one extraordinary dental hygienist. You didn't make me that way, did I think it was Joni Mitchell who said, crying or laughing, is the same release. It's so good to feel all our bellies laughing and all our hearts feeling and moving, and it feels so good. Somebody was just saying on the bathroom break, like they shouldn't get a chance to come into this kind of a collective group in this town very often, and how fortifying it is. So thank you. I just want to say thank you to all the organizers, Kate in particular, but Lori and Leela and Eleanor and Jen and Caroline, who, by the way, while they're doing this, I'll just tell you, there's a table back there of different art supplies, and we want to have some remembrances. Use your creative expression in whatever way you like to create a scrapbook, particularly for the next generations. Hazel, who can't be here today. So just to be able to collect that in any way that feels good to you. We want to feel you. We want to hold this and yes. Anything to say? No? Okay. So this is the time though for us to do a little open mic, a little spontaneous. Yes, sir. Can I help you? Yes. Okay. I think it was Jim was going to start, but I think you should come right on.
A couple weeks ago, Lori asked me to say a few words today, and at the time I declined, never told her why. I will right now. Of the twins, I am the serious, shy, introverted one. But as I've sat here so far today, my comfort level has increased tremendously. don't know about me, back in Harbor Beach, if you give me a microphone and a captive audience, you are in trouble. So first of all, in keeping in Bill's true spirit, I'm going to drop the mic for a minute. Take a look at me. Now, think if Bill was in my place, and don't say anything out loud right at first, but if he was in my place and he was to go back to Harbor Beach, and somebody would say to him, "How was your trip to Mount Shasta?" I'll think for a second. I know exactly what he would say. So this is what I'm going to tell people when they ask me, "Dave, how was your trip to Mount Shasta?" My reply is going to be, "I got laid in Mount Shasta." I do have a couple of stories. Like I said, I've got a captive audience now too. Oh my gosh. When Brother Chris and I were young, Mom and Dad got us some, were they rubber swords? And we were kind of sword fighting. And Bill's, "That's not how you do it." So he took the sword from one of us. And he said, "When you go like this and stab, you're supposed to say, flick, flick." Only it was that other F word. He gives the sword back, and we're going around the house in front of our dear mother, going, "Flick, flick." She heard that. "Where did you learn that?" "Bill." And of course, he got in trouble. You see, we all have heroes. I think probably brothers, and my first hero would be my father. Then, as we watched some cartoons and early TV shows, and probably to this day, it's probably still one of our heroes, it was Superman. But then Big Brother was my hero. And so, when we saw him, I don't even remember where it was, but this is what he was doing. You see your hero do that. What's the logical question? What does that mean? Oh, he says, they call us little smacks. Hey, little smacks, it means it's going to rain. So, there's Brother Chris and I going, and my dear mother, who didn't know what it meant, goes to my dad, who did, and says, "Bill, what does this mean?" And he says to my mother, "Well, it's not good." Where did you see that? The twins were doing it. Dad asked us, "Where did you learn that?" He knew the answer already. "Bill." An experience that Brother Bill and I shared was working at Dreyer's Meat Market, well represented here on the table. He taught me my first German phrase. There was a plaque on the wall of the meat market, and it was, "Nicht auf den Boden spucken." Any German speakers in here? Do you know what it means? Don't spit on the floor. Exactly. Okay. And another experience. I don't like remembering this, but it happened. While we were working at the meat market, Ed Dreyer gave Bill the keys to the van so that he and I could go to South Bend, Indiana, and pick up a load of cheese. And This was after Bill got back from the Army. And on the way home, about halfway, he stopped and bought some Boone's Farm apple wine. That night, my big brother, my hero, taught me how to drink a bottle of Boone's Farm apple wine. To this day, I don't even like looking at the bottles on the shelves in the store, so you can imagine what happened. One of the greatest joys of my life was coming to Lake Tahoe to be part of the wedding, to see my hero get married to a wonderful gal in a wonderful location. A part of me is gone now because my hero is not physically here with me, but after today, I know that he's not really gone. He'll always be part of me. God bless you, Brother Bill.
I just want to add an addendum to your I got laid story. So when I was here a couple weeks ago and Kate had asked me if I'd be willing to be the MC and the shade, I said certainly, and I went home and I just kept seeing a leg, getting her a leg, you know. And so of course I called a lawyer, contacted her not too long ago, and she says, oh, we've got it handled, there's legs coming. And I said, okay, but the thing I didn't say was that I kept hearing Bill saying, would you just tell that from wherever I am, the beyond or whatever, I still want to lay you, baby. So that's the message. I don't know what all these other things mean, but that was the message. Thank you. Jim, want to take one here?
My name is Jimmy Weedsey. That was Bill's nickname for me. My wife Sandy and I are here from Santa Rosa. So that was absolutely beautiful singing. I've known Bill a long time. Since May of 1974, when he first came to California. He made the trip out from his child home at Three Oaks, Michigan, right? And in a CJ5, and striking out for a new life in the Golden West. That was how it was for Bill. I knew it because I was in the same place. We immediately became best friends. And we lived just 2 doors down from each other at the Sierra Pines Motel. And life was a happening. Groovy party for a couple of young guys in beautiful South Lake Tahoe. One time in Bill's pad, we had the stereo so loud that we didn't know our old landlady, Mrs. Bowl, had been pounding on the door, then coming into the room with her master key, turning down the stereo, and then leaving in a flash. Bill and I looked at each other and said, wow, I can't believe it. She suddenly appears in the room, and then suddenly she vanishes. Bill's close friends called him Slice, because he was a butcher by profession. And sometimes he'd come home with ribeyes in his back pockets. Sometimes lobster tails. But Bill was very good at what he did and appreciated good people to work with. Bill was always willing to help someone out, especially out of a snowbank with the CJ5. The next year, Bill and I moved in together in a condo at the Villa Tahoe, which is where Kate's family has a place, and the party continued there. pardon me for being a little bit straightforward here, but Slice did some funny stuff. Once he had a large dildo that actually looked real. And thanks to Bill's quirky, color outside the box sense of humor, you'd never quite know where you'd find that dildo. Behind a sofa, behind the pillow on the sofa, on a lounge or underneath a towel. But I think Bill's favorite place was in a frying pan on the stove. When we were that day sober, that dildo always got a lot of laughs. But you know what? Our condo was super clean. That's because Bill was the most fastidious person I know. Slice was his first name, but my good friend Bill was also affectionately known as Mr. Clean. And then Bill met Kathy, who became Kate. And Kathy was the greatest thing that ever happened to Bill. I never saw Bill so happy as with Kate. And we had many good times together.
And Kathy, he liked having He said that's his line.
Well, Bill and I grew apart in miles over the years, but he was one of my closest friends. And actually, he was my best man. And I wish you were all there for Bill's wedding toast to my newlywed wife, Sandy, and me. Bill wished us the most wonderful life of prosperity and good luck, of peace and love and happiness and friendship. And at the very climax of his toast, he said, "And at the end of the rainbow, may your pot always be gold." Well, our moms were just in tears. It was such a lovely, beautiful picture. And then everyone else in the party was just laughing their butts off. And we were in tears too. But I will always remember all our good times together. When Bill first left Tahoe, I wrote a song about him. Bill was a wandering soul then. I suppose like many of us in the 1970s. So this song is called Goldman, but it's really about Bill, not unlike Goldman of the story Narcissus and Goldman, if you know it. And the song goes quite something like this. Goldman, you don't worry where the road leads you on. Goldman on the highway, taking miles as they come. I wonder how long you will roam. I can't help crying when I know you are alone. Goldman left at daybreak, left me here with this song. Goldman, like the last time, took my heart and moved on. A wandering soul is your defense, and though we may not be together, still we're friends to the end. Till then, I'm your friend. I love you, Bill. You will not be forgotten.
Eternal friendship. Lives on. Thanks so much. It's beautiful. So we have anybody else who wants to share a little bit about their remembrances, memories, how Bill made you feel, jokes? Don't be shy. Oh, Anasa.
This is an expression of Bill. Always he brought flowers to Kate. Whenever she came home from San Francisco or from a women's group, there were flowers waiting for her. And I experienced Bill in his quiet moments as well. And I think one of the most memorable moments were when he was alone. Kate had gone to San Francisco, and I came over to bring the dog bag. And I came in, and there were candles, and there were the flowers, and there were music playing in the background. And I looked around, and Bill was alone. And I thought, interesting, you know? There are those quiet moments that Bill had where I felt very, very close to him, because I like my aloneness very much, and I like to be quiet a lot. And I like to have fun a lot as well. So we matched there very well, so I will always remember him. The flower and the nose goes along with it. Just in case I can't smell the flower with one nose, I have another one.
Anybody else? I'm happy to come to the back of the room too. Oh, right, there we have someone. Wherever you be, we're happy to come too. We're traveling like here.
Bill and I were joined at the hip, which is to say, we both had hip replacements by the same surgeon. Bill had his first, and consistent with what everybody's been saying about how much he liked to help people, he went out of his way to go through all the details of the right way to do it, the latest technology, anterior approach, calibrated parts, and Nicholas Mass, the best surgeon around. And Bill came to lunch with me. It was less than 6 weeks after his surgery, and he's walking fine. And he really did a lot to help me get ready to go in and do that. Because as you can imagine, that's a huge change in one's life to think, oh my God, they're going to go in there and cut all that bone out and put in something fake. It works. It works beautifully. I wouldn't be standing here now, at least not pain-free, if it wasn't for Bill's encouragement and giving me the details. So thanks, Bill.
Oh, thank you so much. Hello, yes, I'm going to come to you.
Share something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I moved from Mount Shasta about 10 years ago, and I've seen Bill infrequently since that time. But Bill is very instrumental in something shifting in my life that has been such a godsend for me. I used to observe Bill when I was feeling like, oh, why didn't I say that? Regretting things that I hadn't said, I had said, that I hadn't done, and that I didn't do things perfectly. And Bill would be laughing when I'd look at him and he'd say, I just cracked myself up. And, you know, it made such an impression on me. It started really shifting the way I looked at myself, because I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to crack myself up. And so I think of Bill with a lot of gratitude as I've learned to laugh at myself in life. So thank you, Bill. Thank you.
Bill had that very unique laugh that you actually know how to do. And how many people picked up Bill's laugh? How many do you know what I'm talking about? I was with you last time I heard you go, I was like, that's Bill's laugh. It lives on. It's a legacy. I heard that one from you. That's great. Yeah, you ready to speak?
Bill's sister-in-law. He was my brother-in-law. I guess, first I want to say, much like Omen also you were talking about, whenever I was with Bill in one of our homes, either at his home or our family home, he was, in the early days, Bill was the first one in bed about 8:30. He was always up at 4 in the morning, and we understood that Bill went to bed very early. But in the later years, when I was getting up early in the morning, the most precious time was, I would think I was toddling down in the early dawn light, and I might be the first one up. But there in the dark would be sitting Bill, very quiet. He was somebody who could just be in the silence of the dawn. He had an incredible quiet about him that was very loving and very present. But my sister encouraged me, I really want you to tell that story. I really want to tell you that story. So, it was my first trip to Yosemite. And Hazel's here. Yay. And Kate and Bill, and actually Joy and I went, yeah, that story. So Kate and Bill and Joy and I, we were up in Yosemite, and we had gone on a number of wonderful hikes up into the hills, and evening was coming, and we'd walked the valley, and it was dark, and Kate and Joy decided to go, and we had rented this cabin along the creek. And Kate and Joy decided they were tired, and Bill goes, come on, let's go walk a little further. And so they went to the cab, we'll be there now. Yeah, light a candle for us, right. So, thank you. So we went walking out into the meadow in the starry night and laughed and told stories and probably a few jokes. And we walked back along the river, and there was our cabin, and they didn't leave the light on, but they had the key, left a key in the door. So I opened the key in the door and went in, and it's pitch black. And I leaned over my single bed over here to right where I know my flashlight is, and I go to reach the flashlight, and Karen stirs. Karen, she changed her name too. Karen Joy stirs, and I said, it's okay, it's just me, I'm getting the light. I forgot to leave the candle on, and she says, I don't think I know you. And I hear Bill's zipper going down and coming up so quick. And Joy, she goes, no. And so she and I are fiddling in the dark, trying to hand this key. I said, you left the key in the door, giving her the key, and I hear Bill grabbing his boots and his shoes and running out the door. Of course, we'd gone over one more cabin. There the light was on. We bust into the door, hysterical laughing. These two wake up and like, what's so funny? So, it was very funny. But Bill was always very funny and very, very precious to our family. I think that's all I have to say. I will miss my brother-in-law very much.
There was many adventures. That was definitely one of my sweetest stories. Who wants to speak next? I just want to see a hand. How many people want to? Good. All right. I'm going to share my story though right now. I got mine. I just want to say that, you know, as much of a jokester that Bill was, my, I think, most fond memory of him is when I got married 5 years ago, and we had a tribal wedding, and he sang at my wedding. And it was this beautiful Izzy song, The White Sandy Beach of Hawaii. And he sang it like an angel, and it was in that moment, really, after knowing him for so many years, that I felt like I was getting a transmission of his heart and soul. You know, it was like there was this place there where he was so full of jokes and comedy and lightness, but there was this depth, just this purity of heart that he had that really came through to me in that song, and it's one of my most cherished memories, not only of Bill, but of my wedding, which was quite spectacular. Get back over here.
I was lucky enough to meet Bill shortly after we moved to Mount Shasta, and through a mutual friend who actually was the first guy that introduced him to the great Cuban cigar. Michigan. We both loved eating fried perch and drinking beer. We had a lot of the same loves. A wife we loved, a daughter we loved, a son we loved. And he was a jokester, but he had a heart as big as anything in the world. And he was kind and he was wonderful. And I will miss him. And so will she. And I'm crying on the inside now, but I will forever think of Bill with a smile on my face. Thank you.
We have time for one or two more, so yes. Oh yes, I know you have a story.
I grew up with Bill. I just kind of flipped out about this whole thing. It's such a pleasure to be here amongst you people, and I just feel such high energy. But anyway, I want to tell you, one of his first jokes he ever told me, he wanted to know why is a tavern like an elephant? Because when it lets one go, it goes bar room. You gotta realize this is first grade. First grade was the first time I got to visit the principal. And it was with Bill. We saw two girls in our swing sets. And we obviously knew some kind of sacred language. It didn't go over real well. Some things. And so we got to meet the principal together for the very first time. But Bill had also had, we rode bicycles together. And later on in life, he even had a 305 Super Hawk Honda, something my folks denied me. And he was not bashful about driving on the railroad tracks from one town to another. And would be on the back. And then he graduated and he bought his first vehicle. I think it was a 35 Chevy with a V8 flathead. And he was just like somebody so special in your class. And this year we're supposed to have our 50th class reunion, and he was supposed to MC that. And, he'll be missed, but at the same time, he loved cars. Kate, did you have a Prius? Did you know it won 120? Let me know. We used to race our Corvettes on the back roads, things like that. But Bill was a heck of an athlete too. You said he had a hip replacement. I did not know that. But he could run like a deer. Unbelievable. An excellent basketball player. And when I go back home, I'm going to try and take as much of this love and just share that to let them know what a wonderful life he's lived. So as we so-called grow up, Kate, you fine-tuned him. You did. You made him a light worker. He planted seeds of light in the hearts of so many with his humor and style. But I just feel blessed that I was able to be here and share with you folks. And I'm not that sentimental. I'm supposed to be heavy duty and hardcore, ex-military and stuff. But that's what he could do from a person's heart. And thank you all so much.
Okay, well, I'm not going to stand up because it makes me a little nervous talking on mic, but I want to tell a story about when we all went to Istanbul and I took a walk with Bill alone. We decided we were going to go, he wanted to find the Harley shop. We wanted to get a t-shirt at the Harley shop. So basically we went on this, it was supposed to be about 2 blocks according to everybody. And we kept asking, and oh no, just another block. I think we walked about 4 miles that day. And so then on the way back we decided, well, let's just at least find out how much a taxi is. I think it was about $1 back to the hotel. But we must have walked 4 miles, and on the way back from the hotel, actually one of the most interesting experience, we played chicken in an Istanbul taxi. The center lane that we normally turn in is in Istanbul, there's no laws. So we're going about 60 in an Istanbul taxi, and at the last second the other car goes beep beep and moves out of the way. But that was, I guess, one of my most memorable experiences with Bill.
So you said Harley, and he loved Harleys. And Rod, who was here earlier and sang that beautiful song, he had to leave to go back to Sacramento, but his wife was the minister of the Church of Religious Science that we belong to in Tahoe. And she had an abundance class, and one of the assignments was to visualize what you wanted to bring it into your life. And so Bill decided that he wanted a Harley in his garage. And he had a picture of it, and he would say affirmations about it. And one day, his friend asked if he could store his 1960 called Baby in the garage. So he did have a Harley in his garage, but he forgot to say it would be his Harley.
Okay, one more? Anybody else? Okay. Oh, good. Leslie.
Read a joke.
Absolutely. Jokes are welcome.
From Bill. And this is in theme. I know Bill from the Grub Club. And I don't know if I had other nicknames, which I could have, but I was his girlfriend. And Kate knows about us. I'm her girlfriend too. But the last thing I received from Bill was an email with a joke in it that has to do with farming and animals and all of that. And I think that that's how a lot of people in the community know him, and I would love to just share that joke with you. Yep, some people can't handle the truth. My favorite animal. Our teacher asked what my favorite animal was, and I said, fried chicken. She said I wasn't funny, but she could have been right because everyone else laughed. She couldn't have been right because everybody else laughed. My parents told me to always tell the truth, and I did. Fried chicken is my favorite food. It's my favorite animal. I told my dad what happened, and he said, my teacher was probably a member of the PETA. And he said, they love animals very much. I do too, especially chicken, pork, and beef. Anyway, my teacher sent me to the principal's office again. I told him what had happened, and he laughed too. Then he told me not to do it again. The next day in class, my teacher asked me what was my favorite live animal. And I told her it was chicken. She asked me why, and I told her it was because you could make fried chicken out of it. She sent me back to the principal's office again. I don't understand. My parents, no, she sent me back to the principal's office again. He laughed and told me not to do it again. I don't understand. My parents taught me to be honest, but my teacher doesn't like it when I am. Today, my teacher asked me to to tell me what favorite military person I have. And I told her Colonel Sanders. Guess where I am now.
All right, well, we have, hi Hazel, I'm chasing you. All right, well, thank you all for your just loving presence and attention. We have actually Jen and Group, there she is, Group. We have one last piece here before we complete this part of our circle. And there will be, of course, food and refreshment, and we hope you hang around for. And Jen? Okay, guitar back.
Not quite 2.5 followers.
So I invite you all to stand for our last bit of time together. And you all do have words that are on your chairs. So even if you don't usually sing, or especially if you don't usually sing, I invite you to do that today. And if we're such a big group, if you can imagine all of us standing in a circle holding hands. So just imagine that, standing in a circle, and know that we here, from all these various areas and times of Bill's life, we are the circle of Bill's love together. And that this circle is the legacy of love that Bill gave to each one of us. So I invite you to sing along and to give yourself to love in Bill's honor today.
My friends all gather round with something I would say. What brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside. We're strangers are as family, and loneliness can't hide. Just give yourself to love. If love is what you're after, open up your heart to tears and laughter, and give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. I've walked these mountains in the rain. I've learned to love a friend. I've been out before the sunrise to watch the day begin. I always knew I'd find you, though I never did know how. But like sunshine on a cloudy day, stand before
Mahalo, everyone. Aloha, ke'akua. Remember, none of us is getting out of this alive. So enjoy each moment. Be kind, be true, and let's make the most of it. So this next segment, this is the end of this ceremony, but the next one is just beginning. So we invite you to join us with food and drink, and Doug and Carol have made sausages in Bill's honor, his recipe. So we have sausages and all kinds of food and treats, and we really invite you to hang and be with the family and yourselves, and let's have a good time. Blessed be. Aloha. Aloha ke'akua.
So younger than the sun. Yeah, the bonnie boat was won as we sailed into misty. Hark now, hear the sailors cry. Smell the sea and feel the sky. Let your soul and spirit fly into the misty. When that foghorn rolls